Ji with us in the studio. She's a psychologist. And Alisha, just listen to this. There are so many like Diksha out there who today, when I ask her if you're a shopaholic, she tells me, I'm not sure, but this is what I do and it's convenient and I like it, so I just do it. So can you firstly identify for us who is a shopaholic and who is not? Like, where is the Lakshman Rekha there?
So we call it a shopaholic when it is repetitive, the amount spent increase or it's at an ascent every week. You're buying stuff that you absolutely don't need. You're going to hoard it. You're not going to use it. You're not going to discard it. And yet at the same time, there is this compulsion in you when you can't stop. So there's a vicious cycle. There's an urge. After there's an urge, I'm doing a lot of research at different platforms. After that, I purchase and shop again. And it's a cycle that doesn't end. Now, when we talk about genders, there isn't a lot of difference. So if we see it, 6% of the female population is said to be addicted to shopping. And it's 5.5, which is the male population. But if we compare in terms of the amount spent, it is said that the amount spent by men is a far larger amount than the amount spent.
Because it's gadgets.
Because it's gadgets and accessories, but in comparison, for women, it would be probably shoes, clothes, and bags.
That's an interesting insight. So what you're essentially saying is that it doesn't matter then that, gender doesn't really play a role. It could be different items, but the urge remains the same. So, which brings me to the question that I was trying to understand from Diksha as well, that where is this coming from? Is there some sort of void within that people are filling up with shopping? Or is the shopping itself leading to some sort of isolation?
I think shopping is basically a reaction to an underlying problem, which could either be an anxiety, it could be depression, a mood problem, an inferiority, or probably even obesity. Shopping is a reaction. There is an underlying problem which is far bigger. It's sometimes probably the fact that I didn't have this as a child and I always wanted it. Let me go ahead and buy this for myself. Or everyone around me has it, I should buy it for myself. Or there's a certain bracket that I want to fit in society. Or I have peers and there's a certain amount of peer pressure and I will go ahead and indulge.
Right.
Like Disha rightly said, it's easy, it's convenient. So basically it's easy, it's convenient, there are options and there are offers. And that's when someone is not able to control the urge.
So essentially it's the instant dopo hit, right?
Exactly.
It's the dopamine hit that you get every time you make a purchase.
Right.
And because these days there are several deals and there is return and exchange in your head, you find reasons to justify.
Yes, absolutely. And also, it's this typical excitement of unwrapping a box that gives you that hit. So what you technically need to do is search for other options that give you that typical dopamine hit that an Amazon parcel would give you. So you need to search for better and healthier options that probably are even easy on your budget.
Yeah. Okay, so we've identified this problem a little bit. Let's sort of get into the solutions then. So how do we do this, Alisha? If somebody who's watching this right now and is identifying themselves as somebody who could have a potential, it's like everything in life, it's a spectrum, right?
Right.
Even a shopaholic is going to be a spectrum. You could be very early in the spectrum or could be very high. It depends on how you identify yourself, right? So if you are somewhere in the spectrum, what should you do? What is the best way to get out of this?
I think the first thing you need to figure is where on the spectrum you are, mild, moderate or severe in terms of a shopaholic. And for any problem, I think the first solution is acceptance that yes, I have a problem and I need to deal with it better. After that, what are my triggers? Why am I actually doing it? Am I doing it because I'm low? Am I doing it because I'm bored? Am I doing it because people around me are doing it? What are my typical triggers? Identifying that is very important. Once you've identified your triggers, there are certain ways in which you can curb yourself. Now, if you're able to do it on your own, I think that's brilliant. If you can't, it's good to ask someone to help you monitor yourself in terms of the budgeting, or just keep track of what I'm doing. That's really going to help.
Okay.
Apart from that, I think the bank balance is something that will get to you at the end of the month. And even if you're not low, it's going to make you feel horrible. So to keep track of that, I suggest to a lot of patients as well that don't have your bank details saved on any of your platforms.
Basically, don't make it easy.
Don't make it easy. See, it's so much easier when you just have an OTP generated to you and I feed in that and then shop. In comparison to typing out all those digits on my card, it's going to take so much more time. So don't make it easy. That's one thing. Apart from that, reward yourself each time you're not doing it. Give yourself something that will make you feel better. Keep something onto your cart for at least 48 hours. See if you actually need it. So,
But you know, there was another person, we were doing this experiment online, and we asked a couple of our, TBC followers to sort of come back to us and tell us what shopping addiction meant to them. And there was this one very interesting comment. This woman wrote to me and said that, I don't buy, I don't think I have an addiction. I keep putting stuff in my cart, and one fine day when I'm really angry or upset, I go and buy it all. That's my impulse. And I justify it by saying that I'm in a bad mood, I deserve something good. How do you see that?
in terms of just going ahead and saying I need it, I think what you need to do is even set a limit to the budget, to the number of items, and probably fix just one day a week. And then you reduce. If there's someone, we call it an addiction when it's probably multiple number of times a day or a week. So you need to have certain tabs for that, because then otherwise a person, I've had patients who've spent above 5 lakhs a month.
Wow.
And there's no limit, there's no way in which you can stop.
Right. Let me ask you this then, and something that Deeksha also sort of, touched upon while we were trying to understand and get some answers out of her. Is just the scrolling addiction leading to a lot of this? Because retail therapy is different from online addiction, and a lot of people don't know where to draw the line, right? But just the ease of scrolling, and what is it leading to? Let me buy this. Is that also part or maybe the genesis of the problem here?
No, I feel that retail therapy is something very different. Retail therapy is, I've had a great week, I've done a lot of good work, and I need to reward myself. Let me just go ahead and buy something. Retail therapy would also be that I've needed 5 things for myself. Maybe a few of them are expensive. Let me go ahead and buy 2 things for myself. That is retail therapy. A shopping addiction is when I'm probably buying things that are absolutely bizarre. I'm never going to need it, never going to use it. But it's just an impulsive decision to just go there and purchase. And this would never stop. This would be the smallest of items that probably I would not even unpack. So that is when it would be an addiction, not otherwise. So I don't think there's a lot of scrolling that's responsible, but it's also a lot of marketing techniques and advertisements that make it so catchy for you that you can't stop. And also the fact that there are offers and options, like I said. So that's something that we don't know where to actually draw the line.
Well, marketers will continue to do what they do. I think brands will continue to do what they have to do. We have to understand why we are feeling this void, to sort of fill it with items outside, and we got to understand what really gives us pleasure. Is that one box coming to your apartment every other day, or is it going to be some meaningful connections and conversations? So, like this one. So, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Breaking it down for us.
Thank you so much.
All right. We hope that was a little bit of a help and made you